cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3
Before he was shot, I was supposed to meet him in Vegas. He was in the hospital by the time I got there. Biggie, supposed to meet him that night. We were supposed to talk. Passed day before my birthday, September 13th. We was gonna meet in Vegas. I was in Vegas and it rained in Vegas when he passed. That was a trip. I have way too much respect for Tupac. He thought I was dissing him and he thought, and I, on the song, The Message.
Nas said, I love you. I never dish you. He shook his hand and he hugged him. And when he walked...
What's up, world? Welcome back to Thug Legacy Entertainment. This is your man Sway coming at you live. We are your #1 source for all things hip-hop. Today we have a heavy one for you. We're talking about two titans, Tupac and Nas. This is a story of respect, rivalry, and what could have been. If you love hip-hop, hit that subscribe button and join the Thug Legacy family. Now let's get into it. This clash shook the very foundation of hip-hop. It wasn't just a beef, it was a battle of philosophies, styles, and coasts. The 90s were a time when words had serious weight. Tupac and Nas, two of the most gifted artists to ever touch a mic. We'll break down where they came from, what made them special, and how their paths collided. This is more than diss tracks. It's about the pressure of being at the top, misunderstandings, and the dangerous climate of mid-90s hip-hop. Get ready for one of the most significant what-ifs in hip-hop history. This is Tupac versus Nas. We'll explore their origins, the spark that ignited the rivalry, and the impact it left on the culture. So, settle in. We're about to dive deep. This is Thug Legacy Entertainment. Let's get started. The story begins in New York. Let's start in Queensbridge, New York. Nasir Jones, Nas, grew up in the projects, absorbing the world around him. He was a quiet observer, turning street life into poetry. Inspired by Rakim and Kool G rap, Nas studied the art of lyricism. His breakout came on Main Source's Live at the Barbecue. People instantly recognized his talent. Then, in 1994, Nas dropped Illmatic. Not just an album, a masterpiece. Illmatic painted a raw, honest picture of life in the projects. Nas rapped about hope, despair, and the search for a better life. The album set a new standard for lyricism in hip-hop. With Illmatic, Nas became the voice of a generation. He was hailed as the second coming of Rakim. Critics and fans agreed. Nas was special. His music had depth, soul, and a message. He made you feel like you were right there with him in Queensbridge. Nas became a king in New York and a respected figure across hip-hop. His reputation for lyrical excellence was unmatched. He was the poet of the projects. Illmatic remains a benchmark for classic albums. Nas's rise set the stage for a new era in hip-hop. But on the other side of the country, another legend was rising. Enter Tupac. Let's head west. Now, let's travel to the West Coast. Tupac Amaru Shakur, Tupac. Born into a family of activists, Tupac's revolutionary spirit shaped his music. He moved from New York to Baltimore to California, picking up influences along the way. At the Baltimore School for the Arts, he honed his skills in acts one moment, deep social commentary the next. He gave a voice to the voiceless, rapping about police brutality, poverty, and struggle. Albums like Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me showed his vulnerability and defiance. By the mid-90s, Tupac was hip-hop's biggest star. Signed to Death Row Records, was more than an artist. He was a leader and a force of nature. His influence grew every day. The stage was set for a collision between two giants, Tupac and Nas, two sides of the same coin. But before the rivalry, there was respect. Let's rewind to their early encounters. Here's how it all began. In the beginning, Tupac and Nas had nothing but respect for each other. Both were seen as leaders of the new school, Tupac, the revolutionary, Nas, the lyrical poet. In 1994, after Illmatic dropped, Tupac met Nas in New York. They hung out, shared ideas, and admired each other's work. Tupac was a fan of Illmatic, even calling Nas an inspiration. It was a moment of unity, East and West coexisting. Fans dreamed of a collaboration. But the climate in hip-hop was changing. The media pushed the East Coast versus West Coast narrative. Small misunderstandings grew into big problems. Pressure mounted for both artists to represent their coasts. The friendly competition started to feel serious. The environment became a breeding ground for conflict. The mutual respect between Tupac and Nas was about to be tested. The stage was set for a clash neither truly wanted. The dream of unity was slipping away. Soon, a single song would ignite the fire. The misunderstanding was coming. Let's talk about the message. The turning point came in 1996. Nas was about to drop his second album, It Was Written. The first single, The Message, had lines that sparked controversy. Some thought Nas was dissing Tupac, especially with lines about fake NS that wear the wrong colors. Tupac and his circle took it personally, feeling betrayed. Nas insisted the lines weren't about Tupac, but in the heated East Coast-West Coast climate, perception was reality. Rumors spread. Nas had dissed Tupac. The spark was lit. Tupac, at the height of his fame and paranoia, felt challenged. He remembered their respect, but now saw Nas as a rival. In Tupac's world, there was only one way to respond. The diss was coming. Enter Against All Odds. Tupac wasted no time. He hit the studio with a vengeance. On Against All Odds, he called out Nas by name, accusing him of stealing his persona and questioning his authenticity. The track was pure, unfiltered rage. Tupac felt his real-life pain was being used as a gimmick. He attacked Nas's street credibility, calling him a studio gangster. For fans, it was shocking. Two respected artists now at war. The dream of unity was dead. The beef was now open warfare, at least on wax. The song was recorded in summer 1996, but released after Tupac's death. Nas heard the diss after Tupac was gone, complicating everything. How do you respond to a diss from someone who's no longer alive? The battle was over before it truly began. The rivalry left a cloud of questions and regrets. The hip-hop world was left wondering what could have been. The beef had escalated, but fate intervened. The story didn't end there. Let's see what happened next. The release of Against All Odds after Tupac's death shocked the hip-hop community. Nas faced a tough choice: respond and risk disrespect, or stay silent and look weak. He recorded a response, but chose not to release it, out of respect. Years later, Nas revealed he and Tupac had planned to meet in Las Vegas to squash the beef. The meeting never happened. Tupac was shot that weekend. A chance for peace was lost forever. The unreleased diss tracks became legend. Nas's restraint showed maturity. The culture needed healing, not more conflict. The deaths of Tupac and Biggie were a wake-up call. The beef was no longer entertainment. It had deadly consequences. The rivalry became a cautionary tale. What if they'd met? What if they'd collaborated? We'll never know. But the impact was undeniable. The Tupac-Nas showdown was a turning point for hip-hop. It exposed the dangers of the East Coast-West Coast beef. This wasn't just about music. It was about identity, authenticity, and survival. The rivalry raised the bar for lyrical warfare. Diss tracks became more personal, more potent. After Tupac's death, the culture shifted. Artists called for peace and unity. The idea of a coastal war seemed foolish. The focus returned to music and artistry. Nas's decision not to release his diss track set a new standard for respect. It showed that legacy matters more than winning a battle. The rivalry became a blueprint for handling beef with maturity. Future generations learned from their example. You can be a fierce competitor and still respect the culture. The game was forever changed. Today, Tupac and Nas are hip-hop legends. Their albums are studied by new artists. Their influence is everywhere. Tupac's passion and activism still inspire millions. He taught a generation to be fearless and speak truth to power. Nas represents the pinnacle of lyricism. Illmatic remains the gold standard. He's had one of the longest, most consistent careers in hip-hop. The rivalry is now just a moment in their legendary stories. In 2005, Nas paid tribute to Tupac, showing respect and closing the chapter. Their story reminds us of hip-hop's power, competition, community, and the importance of words. Greatness can come from struggle. Thank you for joining us at Thug Legacy Entertainment. Don't forget to subscribe and join the family. We'll keep bringing you the stories that matter. Until next time, peace and love. This is Sway, signing off.